Woman found something unexpected from a $3 bag.
But before we start, please make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell and smash that like button. We really appreciate your continuous support.
When she lifted the bag and turned it over to inspect it, something heavy moved. Feeling around inside, she began to squeeze the bag's lining until she found the culprit. How odd, she thought as she checked each compartment. Suddenly, her fingers found a hole in the bag's lining. She reached inside, and as her hand closed over the mysterious rectangular object, she knew exactly what it was and that it wasn't meant to be here. Sarah Thomas, an Oregon resident, loved nothing more than a good bargain. Whenever she passed a Goodwill store or charity shop, she just couldn't help herself. She trawled the dusty shelves and boxes for anything that looked unusual or interesting, and she usually found it. In fact, Sarah had such a keen eye for vintage treasure that she started her own clothing resale business online. In all her years of bargain hunting, she thought she'd seen it all, but she was wrong. Her Facebook business page, Sarah's Southern Oregon Secondhand Deals, proved to be so successful that it started generating a steady stream of supplemental income. She worked hard, traveling to the local Goodwill store several times a week to find that special item. Her job, while fun, was full-on unpredictably, and some days were good, while other days weren't as easy. Sometimes she'd snag designer dresses, shoes, and handbags for just a few dollars, but those chances were never guaranteed. The first step of her job required her to inspect any and all items she considered selling. Since most items Sarah found had been worn, the damage was expected, but also made items unfit for sale, and occasionally there'd be more to an object than met the eye at first glance. Such was the case when Sarah spotted a designer diaper bag for just $3, and she knew she had to have it. The diaper bag wasn't only a designer label, but it was also vintage. Even better, it looked practically new, which was a rare find indeed. Sarah knew this diaper bag would have retailed at around $200 new. What a bargain! She immediately snatched it up and bought it without a moment's hesitation. But it was only when she'd already arrived home with her new purchase that she noticed something strange. "I was cleaning it and just noticed something heavy shaking around in there," Sarah explained. But when she rummaged through all the bag's compartments, she still couldn't locate the mysterious object. Unwelcome thoughts started to race through her mind. Who knows what the bag's previous owner had hidden in there and why'd they gotten rid of it? Could there be something nasty in there? Sarah's concerns were growing by the second. Maybe she should just return the bag and leave it at that. After all, it was a second-hand diaper bag. But in the end, her gnawing curiosity was too much. That's when she noticed a small hole in the lining. As we mentioned, wear and tear was expected, but this hole felt intentional rather than accidental. Little did she know she was about to solve a 7-year-old mystery. She peeked into the opening and saw a flash of silver, and her heart started to race. She began to widen the hole, stretching it so she could accommodate her hand. Was it trash or treasure? One way to find out. Slowly and carefully, she worked at it until it was big enough to reach inside. "Here goes," she whispered, preparing herself for either finding some valuable item or useless stuffing. Either way, she was excited. Sarah winced as her hand brushed something cold and hard. Not a good couple of adjectives to use when putting your hand inside an unknown bag. Whatever was inside the living felt smooth and heavy to Sarah. She pulled it out slowly and was astonished to find a brand new Sony digital camera in her hand. Now that she found out what it was, she was left with more questions. Who did it belong to? Why was it hidden there? Sarah located the on switch and held her breath. After a few seconds, the camera beeped to life. She was so surprised she jumped, and then the images began to display. Although Sarah was reluctant to scroll through someone's personal and secret memories, the curiosity got the best of her. She continued to look at the photos one by one, unable to tear her eyes away. The photos depicted a baby and young woman. She assumed the diaper bag belonged to the mother. With each new picture, she saw the loving duo, and Sarah's heart sank more and more. Photograph after photograph flashed before her eyes, but long before she'd even reached the end, she knew something had to be done. But what exactly and how? When asked if she had any hesitation before acting, Sarah said, "I live by the golden rule. I hate someone to do that to me." Sarah's mind was made up. Looking through the photographs was enough to make her take action. At this point, her emotions were ruling her, and she knew in her heart that she'd made the right decision. Sarah started her mission to track down the original owner of the bag to return the camera. As a mother herself, Sarah knew she would have been heartbroken if she'd lost her camera with its irreplaceable memories of her children. She imagined having lost all those precious moments. The day she took her baby home from the hospital, her child's first steps. She'd consigned these moments to memory, but the picture spoke 1,000 words. She had to do something to try to find the camera's owner and return it to them, so the mother could again relive the memories. Then Sarah had an idea. She already had a considerable following on Facebook. Maybe if she shared the pictures online, someone would recognize them. It was a long shot, but worth it. "I hate to lose pictures," Sarah recalled. "It might not be much, but it is to somebody. But would the owner still be in the area?" She knew there was a chance the bag's original owner might have lost it months or even years ago. Sarah's post on Facebook read, "I'm not sure if this is okay to post here, but I purchased a diaper bag at the Goodwill and found a blue Sony CyberShot camera with photos. Does anyone know who this family or people in these pictures are? I want to make sure they get their camera and most definitely their SD card. Luckily, the camera's owner happened to be nearby, and the power of social media was all that was needed to bring her and Sarah together. Thanks to the internet, within just 1 hour of Sarah's Facebook post, the camera's owner was identified by one of her followers. Her name was Katie Connor, but Katie was confused at first. Sarah reached out to the woman with a Facebook message informing her that she had a camera and SD card full of photographs, but Katie had no idea what she was talking about. That's when Sarah decided to send her some of the photos in hopes of jogging her memory. When Katie saw the old photos of her son, she almost burst into tears. She thought the camera, along with its memories, was gone forever. She couldn't believe a random stranger would do all this for her. Sarah arranged to meet Katie at the local Target parking lot. It was all meant to be a simple transaction, but she never could have suspected just what an emotional reunion it was going to be. "Thank you," Katie exclaims as she strides up to Sarah with an exalted but incredulous look on her face. Sarah hands her the precious camera and Katie says with a wide smile, "I think we thought it was long gone." While Katie was glad to recover her relatively expensive camera, she was most excited about the pictures. She told Sarah just how long the camera had been missing for, and Sarah was floored. It was 2017 when Sarah had stumbled upon the camera inside her lucky Goodwill find, but the camera had been missing since 2010. Katie's baby had just been a year old when she was taking the photos, but now he was 7. And of course, Katie couldn't wait to look through the old photos with her son as soon as she got home. Anyone who's a parent knows how the first year of your child goes by in a blur, and Katie couldn't believe she'd get to relive all those memories again. Katie never expected her camera to be found, let alone returned to her in such a public manner, especially since it was, and now, thanks to Sarah, she has all those precious memories back. But Sarah doesn't think what she did is worthy of being called a good Samaritan in the local papers. Didn't think of it as a big deal. I'd think that anyone else would do it, but I guess maybe nowadays that isn't the case, she said in an interview. Sometimes being a good Samaritan just comes naturally.